have not had him on in a while, but he's always a great voice talking Georgia football, and he's also right at the center of one of the biggest topics around college football right now. That is Aaron Murray, who you know him from his career at UGA, but also the work that he's doing now with the Players Lounge. First of all, Aaron, welcome back to our program, Dog Nation Daily, presented by ESOG. Congratulations on all the success that the Players Lounge is having right now, and just welcome to the program here today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's a good time all around. Beautiful weather. Obviously, everyone's so excited about that national championship. And baseball team's playing pretty darn well. So a lot of good stuff going on around campus as spring ball's on its way.
For sure. I want to talk about the Georgia team on the field here in a moment. Before that, I mentioned the Players Lounge, and you guys have had some really cool stuff going on lately where, I mean, listen, a lot of fans are seemingly getting more connected with some of their favorite players than ever before, but also a lot of players, including a lot of guys there at UGA, are having a chance to make some NIL money, name, image, likeness. This is obviously the hottest topic around the sport right now, and you're pretty deeply involved in all of this. Some of our audience knows a lot about this and some of the stuff that the Players Lounge is doing. For some other folks, this is still a very new conversation. So to kind of kick things off here, would you mind kind of explaining to folks what the Players Lounge is, how you're involved with that, and kind of how that's benefiting both, I guess, fans and athletes right now?
Yeah, so we were super excited about the project. Myself, along with Keith Marshall, Ty Fricks, Trent Fricks, started this. And essentially what we did was we partnered with 11 guys on the football team, from Stetson, N'Kobe, Brock Bowers, Amir Wright, Keely, Chris Smith, Tamarda, and then just really wanted to, kind of what you're alluding to, is bring players and fans together through events. And essentially when you own one of our NFTs, and how we describe an NFT is it's a digital ticket. This is your ticket that gives you access to our community. And when you're part of our community, you get to interact with all these players. We had 15 to 20 players on our chat last night, answering questions, talking about the UNC versus Duke basketball game, talking about spring ball. You get those interactions. We're also doing a golf tournament with all of our members. The Friday before G-Day, we're doing an event at Silver Dollar downtown, and then we're doing a tailgate at Creature Comforts on Saturday. You can get all the information at theplayerlounge.io. But it's really fun. Like I said, us former players, we had interactions during our time at Georgia. Some of those relationships are now friends of ours that, necessarily weren't on the football field. And some of them have helped us out in business, because for a lot of players, we all think that, hey, we're going to have this 15 to 20 year career in the NFL. For 95% of us, that's not going to happen. And some of the connections you make during your time in college are some of those people that you're going to lean on and call on when you do have to hang up the cleats. So we want to help accelerate that process, connect great fans with great players through these events. We're having a really good time doing it. So make sure you check us out, the Players Lounge, on our social medias. You can find all that on my social media as well, at Aaron Murray 11.
One of the things I think has been kind of cool is the tangible benefit this has had for players. I mean, you guys have actually already paid out a lot of money to UGA athletes in particular. Now, this is also kind of growing to other schools there as well. I know a lot of LSU folks have just kind of signed in on this there as well. But there are a lot of UGA players who've already been able to kind of really see a tangible benefit from this. The NIL world is really new. We're only about a year or so into this. But a lot of Georgia players have already really benefited from this connection, have they not?
Yeah. So each one of our players, each one of our 11 players was able to benefit when it comes to NIL. Each one got $28,000. So we felt like, for us, we wanted to start off with Georgia, obviously being Georgia alumni, and create some buzz, because NIL is real. It ain't going anywhere. And these kids want to go places where, one, they can win championships. I still think that's the first thing they want to do. They want to go somewhere to compete for championships. They want to be coached extremely well. But there's a lot of places where you could do that. Then what's the next factor? I think a big factor nowadays when you're talking to these kids is, where can I go get paid? Where can I go get the most NIL money? And when there's a headline out that, hey, 11 of the top Georgia players just split a pot of $305,000, each of them got $28,000, that makes headlines. And that's ammunition that Georgia can use when it goes out there to get these top players across the country. Like, hey, man, if you're one of our elite guys, you get $20,000. And we've also done some separate deals with about 30 other players on the team to get them involved in the community as well, to continue to help when it comes to NIL opportunities for everyone on that Georgia roster. So, it's a statement, man. It is a big, big statement in a world of transfer portal, in a world of social media where guys are kind of seeing all these top players do advertisements. If you know that, hey, I can go to Georgia, I can win championships, some of the best coaches in the country, and there's great NIL opportunity. We know how special downtown Athens is. We know how amazing the campus is. We know how amazing the fans are. That's just another box that you can check off of why would I not want to be a Bulldog?
No, I think that's really interesting. I want to talk to you more before we're done about the big events you guys have coming up as we head towards G-Day. I think that's some really cool stuff that fans want to be aware of. Let me get a couple thoughts from you about the team here real quick, though. One of the things that's come up on the show today is the ongoing curiosity about the quarterback situation. Obviously, Stetson Bennett broke through and, made history, helped Georgia win the national championship. I know you had some really kind things to say about Stetson as he did that. And yet there's also this curiosity of, well, what do you have in Carson Beck? What do you have in Brock Vandagriff? And there's some chatter coming out of practice that right now that's what Georgia's trying to figure out. What does it have in Beck and what does it have in Vandagriff? Aaron, obviously you played that position at such a high level. What do you think of the current Georgia quarterback situation, how it's unfolding during spring and what it might look like this fall?
Yeah, I think the one positive is Stetson finally is the guy. I mean, it's amazing to me going to practices, spring practices and fall practices the past few years, and you see Stetson getting the 4-string reps. He's getting the reps of the walk-ons. He's not even sniffing anywhere near first or second team reps, and that's hard. I mean, you have to build chemistry with your players and with your receivers, your tight end, the communication with the offensive line. For him to not have had that opportunity in spring or fall and to go out there and do what he did during the season is amazing. I mean, I was lucky enough. I had 4 years of getting all the reps in spring and fall camp, and it's still a very difficult job to go out there and execute week in and week out against the defenses you face in SEC. So, I tip my hat to Stetson. What he did with the amount of work that he was given is absolutely tremendous. Knowing the fact now that he gets this time to build the chemistry with his players, to build the offense around him during the next 4 or 5 months leading up to that first game in Atlanta, I'm super stoked for him. I'm excited to see what he can do. The guy is backing him up. I've been a big fan of Carson Beck. When you look at, to me, just pure arm talent on the field and ease of throwing the football, the accuracy, he checks off a lot of boxes. I remember watching him a couple of years ago in practice. Like, man, he jumped out to me last year. He jumped out to me. He's someone that needs to take that mental hurdle of being able to mentally get ready for a game, mentally be able to execute all times, because that's what you have to do. You can't have a bad practice. You really can't. If you're going to be trusted and given the keys to the car of a 5-star team, a former national championship football team with all these lofty expectations, you have to bring your A game every single day. So I think for him, that's going to be the key. Can you bring it every single day in spring? Can you do it in fall? And can you do it through the season? But when it comes to intangibles, when it comes to throwing the football, really impressed with him. Brock Vandagriff, I know he's a talented kid, big kid. Actually was pretty impressed with how he was throwing the football. Last week, I went to go watch their practice last Saturday. He's someone I think is talented. Had some stuff I felt like he needed to tweak when it came to his arm motion. He looked like he worked on some of his fundamentals. Really like, what he brings from an athlete standpoint. Obviously, just needs to continue to get reps. He's a young kid. Gunner, just learn, man. That's my recommendation. Yeah. I hopefully I get to go watch practice on Thursday or Saturday and really kind of watch him a little bit more. But right now, you have an opportunity to learn from a hard-nosed competitor, a tremendous leader in Stetson Beck. I think he could benefit from that. But, if I'm the coaching staff right now, and I know Stetson is my number one, I'm making sure I'm doing everything I can to make sure Carson Beck is ready to go. I just think when it comes to, like I said, talent, I think he's the most gifted thrower on that roster. I do. And I think if he can mentally get going, I think he can be pretty darn good here in the next year or two.
And then quickly on this, I know you've challenged the Georgia team as far as what it's doing at wide receiver. You take that step towards matching some of the elite receiver play we've seen from some of the best teams in the country. And this year that means a guy like A.D. Mitchell taking the next step, some guys getting healthier. What do you currently see from this Georgia receiver situation? Because I know that's been a position that you've been pretty outspoken about in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I love their coaches right now between B-Mac being there. I know my boy Bobo's helping out with those guys. I was talking to Bobo the other day, and he was just raving about A.D. Mitchell. And A.D. is someone, too, when you see him in person, you see him out there running routes, he's one impressive individual. And I think the way he ended last season off, you saw a lot of confidence built from him. I love Ladd. I thought Ladd had a tremendous year last year. Really that deep threat, the guy that you saw like in the SEC championship game and other games that can take some of those tunnel screens, make a couple guys miss, and create those explosive plays down the field. So I'm looking for both those two to really step their game up another notch, which I think they can. Obviously, you pretty much throw Brock Bowers into the equation as well. I mean, Brock is a tight end. I mean, he's a receiver. He can do it all. I think it's the most versatile position in college football. I think it's the most versatile position in all of sports right now, and when it comes to football in the NFL and in college. So to have a guy like Bowers that you can move around, create matchups, I think it's amazing. I think between those three, I feel very confident about what they can do. And then you go back to just now the fact they get Stetson all year. They get to work with Stetson. I know Bowers a little bit banged up right now, but come fall camp, he's going to get to work with those guys. And then hopefully Kearis Jackson can get back in the form like he was a couple years ago, get healthy, along with some other pieces. I think I have been outspoken about it. I think they've been very average. A lot of that has to do with, obviously, a lot of them been banged up. We've had a carousel of quarterbacks the past couple of years. It's hard to build chemistry. So Stetson being there, Stetson being the guy, and hopefully these receivers and tight ends being healthy, I think we could see a tremendous jump in the production in this offense next year when it comes to throwing the football.
All right, so let's remind folks, a lot of great stuff going on at the Players Lounge, but in particular, what's going to be happening coming up, G-Day weekend, the great golf tournament there on Friday, where yourself, Keith Marshall, a lot of other former Georgia players a part of that, really raising money for a great cause, Bulldogs battling breast cancer. There's the big event at Silver Dollar, obviously the big tailgate coming up there as well. Aaron, kind of remind us once again some of the stuff that your members get a chance to be a part of as you head towards that weekend, and how people who want to learn more about it or themselves can kind of get involved, how they can connect with the great stuff the Players Lounge is doing for G-Day weekend.
Yeah, so just make sure you go to our website. It's www.theplayerslounge.io. You can always find all this if you just go to my social media accounts at Aaron Murray 11. You can get directed to all those accounts to kind of get the latest updates and news. But we're really excited about the golf tournament right there in Athens. Like you alluded to, going to be benefiting Bulldogs battling breast cancer, and also the DGD fund that some of our great players started up there at Georgia. And then Friday night, we're doing an event at Silver Dollar. And then Saturday, we're doing a huge tailgate at Creature Comforts. We're bringing in a bunch of former Letterman guys like myself, guys like Champ Bailey, Noshawn Moreno, Tavares King. Like, we are bringing a lot of studs out there to have fun and interact with those who own these NFTs. So make sure you go out there, get one before the event. Is essentially your ticket to our community. That's all it is. We're really excited to hang out with everyone, have a good time supporting our dogs.
Yeah, so the playerslounge.io, that's the website. Folks can find out how they can become a member, get the NFT. As Aaron says, that becomes the ticket to engage with the DGD Mafia tailgate, all the fun stuff that's going to be going on with all of that. A great chance to connect with some former Georgia players and be a part of a really fun weekend. Aaron, it's so good to talk some dogs with you. Your insight's obviously valuable, and we love the stuff you're doing there with the Players Lounge now. Thanks for your time on the show. We'll look forward to hopefully getting a chance to speak to you very soon.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all have a great one.